Do you feel you're getting ripped off when buying tickets to physical Beatbox Battle events? Are Beatbox organizers getting mad rich by you attending their event? Are Beatbox events profitable? Today, we're going to be looking into the economics of Beatbox Battles to see how they make money and understand, in the end, what can hint if a battle is profitable or not. Get straight into it. To understand if something is profitable or not, it's looking at the equation of revenue minus cost. In other words, how much money did you make and how much money did you spend to make that much money? With that, we'll go straight into the streams of income for Beatbox Battle events. In other words, how do they make their money? In no particular order, first we have ticket sales. Pretty self-explanatory, but basically if a ticket is $10 and 1,000 people attend the event, that's $10,000 as an income stream for ticket sales for the Beatbox Battle event. Second, you have ticket add-ons or ticket upgrades. So from our example of the $10 a ticket from ticket sales, there could be an option. If you spend $5 more on their $10 ticket, you'll have access to a private meet and greet with the judges before the event. So that example, it's basically an extra amount that's added onto the ticket cost, in other words, ticket sales, but at the same time, it is extra revenue the event would not have if they didn't have that option. Third, you have internal deals. It's a pretty broad statement, but I'll define it through example. So let's say there's a judge who's not only judging the beatbox battle, but also offering a workshop. There could be an agreement in a compensation agreement way where the event organizer could make time for a specified workshop, which allows this beatboxer to not only have the opportunity to judge, but also offer that workshop. So it's a win-win scenario. An example is, let's say a workshop is $20, and let's say that there's 20 people that attend. 20 times 20, that's $400. A potential agreement could be, hey, for every sale, you keep 75% and the event keeps 25%. So from there, the event would make an extra $100, and the beatboxer who is willing to judge and offer that workshop would make that extra $300 they maybe wouldn't have otherwise. Fourth, you have external deals. Basically internal deals, but the perspective of dealing with someone who's not directly associated with the event. So for example, I may get an email from someone who says, hey, we're from a streetwear company and we want to have a table at your event. How much does it go for? How does that sound? Can we come? Etc., etc. So in this situation, we could strike a deal saying, hey, if you're here on the first night of the event, it could be X amount. If you're here on the second night, it's Y amount. And if you're here for both nights, we can do this much for you. And after going back and forth, if it makes sense, the event makes money that way at no cost, but the vendor does everything from A to Z. Again, you just want to be careful of who you're picking and who you're being okay in these external deals when you're dealing with them. Does size matter? Size does matter when it comes to events, because when you talk about external deals to be made with other companies or brands or associations, the story is the bigger your event or the more social proof you have or clout or however you may want to say it, basically the reach that that potential beatbox battle event has through its physical presence, aka how many people show up, but also the external presence, aka what happens afterwards of any footage caught. Is it uploaded to YouTube or other means, and how many eyes are on that type of content? So these type of deals, there's a lot more than on the surface, but the bigger a battle is or bigger anything is, usually there's more reach overall. Fifth, you have sponsorships. So sponsorships are kind of like external deals, but they could also be internal deals. It really just depends on the sponsorship arrangement, agreement, and who basically is sponsoring the event. So for an example, Coop, shout out to you Coop, who's the man behind Vades. They were a sponsor in 2019 for the Beatbox Legends Championship in Atlanta, Georgia. The reason why this matters is because Coop is directly related with the event. In other words, like an internal deal, but at the same time, it's like an external deal, because if you take Coop out of the equation per se, it is just like the event, Beatbox Battle event, communicating with an external company. So it just depends on perspective and which way you're looking at it. So we covered some of the angles of revenue for a Beatbox Battle event, but now let's talk about costs. In no particular order. First, we have venue or venues. It's quite typical for a Beatbox Battle event to last 2 days, if not 3 days. So it just depends. Second, you have judges. Judges, it sounds like just a judge compensation as the actual cost, but depending on the beatbox event, the location, the origin of the judge, and just the way the event is structured, basically there are costs associated with judges, such as transport, food, accommodation, and it just depends on the deal made between the beatbox organizer and the judge or judges. Third, you have ticket distribution costs. Today, everything is online, and so you may have an online store to distribute your tickets. For example, you may have, in terms of cost, a monthly maintenance fee for the online store for upkeep. Maybe it's a yearly cost. Maybe it's a one-time cost just to advertise your event for a specific time period. So it really just depends. But back in the day, before online and everything, the role of this was done by a club promoter. Now, this isn't for beatbox events or beatbox events specifically, but back then, these promoters would basically sell tickets to get commissions. So, for example, on a Friday night, if they sold 100 tickets, and let's say they get 10% of all ticket sales, if tickets were $10 and they sold 100 tickets, that's $1,000. So after the whole night, they make a good $100 just like that. So fast forward to today, there's concepts like affiliate marketing, where if I buy a ticket and now you buy a ticket but with my link, maybe we both get some type of discount. So it's a win-win relationship. So it all just depends on how the tickets are being distributed and factors such as that. So yeah. Fourth, you have rental fees. So rental fees is kind of a catch-all statement for pretty much anything that needs to be rented maybe for the event. For example, and it depends on the event, but if you're renting audio equipment, video equipment, maybe chairs if you want to provide seating for some patrons. So that's a very variable cost, and what is specifically under what the rental fees is, it just depends purely on the event. Finally, fifth, we have miscellaneous. So miscellaneous costs, there's always going to be miscellaneous costs as an organizer for not just a beatbox event, but pretty much any event. And so some examples of this in a beatbox event could be logistics, for example. For example, the random Uber ride. If not random Uber rides, you always need to just make things happen super quick, logistically speaking, or there's a time crunch or just something happens. And that just comes from experience. And we've always seen people in a rush when the event's about to start. Man, I got to get to the venue. So there's costs like that. But within this miscellaneous costs also are costs like trophies or also any other types of rewards or certificates printed for the winners, etc., etc. So miscellaneous, those are some costs, but it could just be anything really. So overall, I just want to thank you for coming this far to the end of the video. It really means a lot. Seriously, years ago when I was looking for a video like this, I couldn't find one, so I wanted to make one today. So hopefully it helps you, or if anyone that's thinking about, starting an event or throwing an event or anything relating to beatbox battle events, etc. Feel free to share it with them, send it over. And if you want me to dig deeper into anything related to what I discussed here or anything else beatbox battle event related, just comment below and I can hopefully make some future material on that. So on that note, I just want to say a big thank you. And I'm assuming most of us here, if you come really now this far, we're probably all beatboxers or from the beatbox community. So I didn't get too much into what the Legends Beatbox Battle is or anything like this, but I just wanted to keep this video more like high-level informational. And yeah, I'll just stop here. So thank you so much. You know how it is. Peace. See you soon. Choice Beats, Lalit, Devraj, etc. Yeah. So I wanted to solidify what we went over with an example. What you see here, the numbers are not real, but at the same time, the line items, they're pretty much what we discussed. So what I want to highlight here is that at a glance, there's items on the left and items on the right, and it just really all depends on the event and how it's all planned out. There are certain expenses that may exist in one location and not exist in another, so it just overall really depends. And also, when you play with the numbers, so feel free to plug and play with it. I'll leave a link in the description to this sheet, so have some fun. But when you look at it, you can basically see, if this happens, then what happens next? Case A, then case B. So you can kind of understand like maybe where it's more important to concentrate on for maybe certain types of streams of income from an event, but not necessarily maybe the community. So it's just how you kind of think about it and actually execute from there. So, I really hope this actually helps someone. And at the same time, feel free to direct message me on pretty much any platform. Links to get in touch with me down below as well. So, but yeah, love beatbox, so love you all. Hope this was useful to some degree, or helpful at least. And thanks so much. So till soon enough. Peace.